Yeah. I love my HBCU. And boy, I love it, love it. I love it, love it. I love my HBCU. And man, I hope my team they won one. Yeah. I hope my team they won one. Yeah. Man, I hope my team they won one. I hope my team they won one.
It's about the financial funding and how many of your students at an institution get essentially some type of financial aid, I guess is what you call it, in terms of their limited resources. So that's what they look at it. So they take, I think it's like the bottom 5%, 8% or something like that. And so if your conference have a majority of schools that have that prerequisite, or if you're an institution in itself and you fall within it. So that's how you can get it. So essentially, it's all the HBCUs. I think there were a couple that came out, and then depending on whether they were in a conference, were the majority of the HBCUs.
I tune into the HBCU Sports Lab to see if my team won or lost. If they lost, I'm quiet as a mouse. But if they won, keep tab. I'ma do the dab, yeah. Dr. Cavil, he know what he be talking about. Mike and Charles, they know what they be talking about. They compress the analytic data with the hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they won or lost, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gonna teach a lesson.
And welcome to episode 500 of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab show and podcast, the show that's covering the sporting HBCU diaspora and all things HBCU sports for the institutions, large or small, from NAIA to NCAA. We share insights, information, and thoughts on the HBCU sports culture and HBCU athletics and aesthetics to facilitate the story of HBCUs and athletic programs and the business of HBCU sports. Tonight, co-host Charles Bishop and Mike Washington want to introduce the star of the show, and this is only fitting and appropriate. Show 500, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil. We're filming from our home studios and sending a signal live to our KCOH 1230 AM studios with the Texas Radio Hall of Famer himself, Ralph Cooper, in the beautiful home of Texas Southern University here from Houston, Texas. And I just wanted to start things off right because, Doc, you've meant so much to this space and to this platform. It's only right that we introduce you tonight here on Show 500. Is huge, and really appreciate everything that you've done in terms of bringing myself, bringing Mike in to this platform and talking HBCU sports, something that we all appreciate and enjoy, and something that all the fans around HBCU sports have enjoyed for 500 some odd episodes. So wanted to start things off right by introducing you to the platform.
I appreciate that. That was different and something that you added just before. I appreciate that. Mike?
No.
Yeah. So Doc, I've known you for 30 plus years, and you knew when I said,
has it been that long, Mike?
Man, it ain't been years. It's been some years. That's how long it's been. So I appreciate your expertise, your patience, your tutelage in this business. I mean, you've grown it. You've grown your image. You've grown the diaspora of HBCU sports. I have nothing but admiration.
Let's welcome back in. I understand we had a little bit of a technical difficulty, but I want to bring us back in here for episode 500 and make sure we start things off right in regards to Doc. We absolutely appreciate everything that you've done in regards to this space and this platform with regards to HBCU sports, and it's a labor of love. And I start off by saying, this effort that you brought together with regards to Mike and myself, it takes a lot of time and a lot of patience and things of that nature, but you make it flow so seamless, and it's been fun. I mean, in terms of getting to episode 500, I just wanted to start things off by a hearty congratulations to you and a big thank you for all that you've done in regards to this HBCU sports podcast culture. Because in a lot of ways, we refer to you as the dean. You really are a dean in regards to this platform.
Appreciate you, Charles. I remember when you went back and came in the office and you was like, hey, we'll do the show and we'll have a question in regard to that. Where did we first start the show? And so we'll talk a little bit about that more. But the fact that you came in the office and learned out later that you happen to be a brother, member of Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity. And I was like, oh, this is even better than I would have thought. And it was a hot moment because I was like, all right, come up with the show. We're going to do the show tonight. And then you were just sitting there and you thought you were going to listen to a show. No, come grab a seat, put on the headphones. And literally the show started from there. Mike was out. Bryan was with us at that time. And I did it the way Ralph Cooper said, just have a seat. Started asking questions. Next thing you know, you're a full member of the show. So it worked out really well.
It really did. It really did. And like I said, and I remember that day vividly because it was, I remember driving home and the previous weeks. And I would hear Ralph Cooper show, and I hear you come on there. And I think y'all mentioned that you were in Houston or you were at Texas Southern. I said, oh, my God, I'm about to go over here and go talk to this guy because in some way I want to be a part of it. So I literally hunted you down over there on the campus of Texas Southern University and just walked in the midst of one of those famous Houston thunderstorms where it was flooding all over the place, but I wasn't going to be denied that day. So it went from there.
Mike, you know where the office is over there in H&P, and I just get this random knock on the door late. I was like, what? Yeah, I thought it was maybe a student. I was trying to figure out why it was a student. It's late, and I was going to have to tell the student I got somewhere to go. They're going to be mad because I can't spend the time. And it's Charles, and it worked out perfectly. Like I said, because we needed another individual on the show. He showed up and showed out. Now he's a full member of the team.
Yeah, absolutely. Full member, large and in charge. So I also would like to echo, my sentiments. I've known you for 30 some odd, I'll say, instead of years. But
it's been that long?
It's been a quick minute. It's been a quick minute. And I always, joke around with you and chide you a little bit, but in all seriousness, I would have tipped the hat and say thank you for introducing me to this arena, me and so many others that you've opened the door for. You've increased the knowledge base and just the overall, perception and understanding of this diaspora that we know as Black college sports. I don't know if we can give you enough flowers. Yes, we're giving you, but I don't know if we can give you enough. And you are probably one of the most sought out individuals when it comes to that. So I just want to take the time to tip my hat. I think it was like 20 some odd years I told you that I was going to try. At the time, it was ESPN's Rock the Mic contest. And he's like, what?
I remember that.
So I tried out to Rock the Mic. So he's like, well, I'm working with Ralph Cooper and I started this radio show and he's like, you should come on and try. I was like, all right, work regardless. I definitely want to do it. I want to get it in. So you were very, very welcoming. I had no training, no background whatsoever. So thank you so much, Doc, for being accommodating, understanding, but yet being that gentle, intelligent expert that we've all come to know and love. I don't know about your polls all the time, but I love you to death. So tip of the hat to you, Doc.
I wonder when the roast was coming. I knew it was coming, y'all. I want to thank both of y'all for those steak nights. Thankfully, we're not doing it in the radio because it helped me in terms of where I am with my weight. But boy, those Tuesday steak nights.
Tuesday night steak nights. Yes, indeed.
Tuesday steak nights.
Like getting home sometimes 10, 11 o'clock. My wife be looking at me like, I thought you had a radio show. Yeah, we did. But we got to go.
Oh, my God.
We got to practice and get prepared for next week's show so we discuss all this stuff. And I know she knew I was full of, but she was like, whatever, do your thing.
The Tuesday night steak nights were the best.
Oh, man. Those Tuesday night steak shows, I tell my wife, well, y'all must have had to be something to do after the radio show. Yeah, we had to do a planning meeting, quote unquote, for the next week. Now, she might be listening. She's like, I knew you were lying. She might be listening. Like, I knew you were lying, but that steak was just, oh my God.
Oh my God.
Woo.
Yeah.
Let's bring Roy in, the producer from the back that makes it all work and finds a way to get stuff. Let's get his thoughts and comments in terms of what he's been able to do since we partner up in terms of being able to bring you this inside the HBCU Sports Lab, which literally came doing it live on Facebook from the radio studios with Ralph Cooper, the Hall of Famer that we told you about right here in Houston, Texas. And now we went from a global space, particularly during COVID when we shut down and had a chance to find a way to continue to do the show and take it to the next level. And a lot of that is based on Roy. Roy, what are your thoughts?
Well, gentlemen, first I want to say thank you for allowing the Black College Sports Network and myself being a part of the lab. It is definitely, I think both Mike and Charles have echoed this, but, again, you can't say it too much. Doc, you are the dean of HBCU sports. Your name carries weight. It validates, it secures, it does a lot of things in this space. And, we were just happy, man, to be a part of being able to do this and come on this journey with you guys. It was definitely something that has been enjoyable. It has been interesting, to say the least. At some point, I found out, one of the things that I continue to find these friends who deal with a whole lot of drinking, and and being not the biggest drinker myself, I got to start showing people when I actually do finish all my stuff. And actually, Mike, I got some whiskey in the refrigerator.
Roy, don't go there, Roy.
But we don't do that. But actually, you know what, Doc? The first Thursday show in the month of June, I am actually scheduled to be in Houston. So I think we're gonna with one of our other partners, Alex White. We have to do something live for you guys, do something special in. And now listen, I'm a steak eater too, so I might need to figure out a way we can get on one of them steak meetings that Thursday night. But Doc, again, man, thank you for allowing us to be a part of this journey with you. And it's crazy because I went back and found the first show. I was actually running some of the clips a little bit before the beginning. And it was actually episode number 1.
Make sure you don't give them the date because we're gonna ask that question. I did. The first show with BCSN.
Yeah. But all right,
anybody, the first person to answer that, again, we'll get a patch. We'll connect with you. We'll give you the HBCU Sports Lab patch. So anybody that can answer that question, the perfect lead-in. Let's take our first break. We'll come back on the other side and bring on and get to continuing with the show. Show 500. Well, I tell you, it's in a lot of ways it's unbelievable, but with these talented individuals, we can do just about anything. And thanks for all those that are saying congratulations for us on show 500. We're getting some texts as well. So with that being said, we'll be right back after this break.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit HBCUPrideJoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
This is Bryan Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Lab. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Lab, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
I'm returning to Clinton Parish, and Tampa's my community. I grew up here, went to school here, and my wife and I make our home here. What makes Tampa special are its people. So when I represent someone injured in my community, it's personal. Call my office and speak to a real lawyer and not some referral service. I will fight the insurance companies to get the settlement that you deserve. At the law office of Clinton Parish, we take the pain out of being hurt.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties. Through its programs, Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and parenting education coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentJAX.
Test the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they want a law, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. As you will see as we move out through the show, we'll continue to have guests to come on and kind of give their thoughts in terms of this momentous moment. But one of the things, as we'll announce, and I'll announce it now instead at the end of the show, is I'll be taking a hiatus, taking a break. But we'll have Charles slide over, which you've seen with him kind of doing the hosting duties as he did with this show. And Mike will slide over, and then we'll have perennial guests. But Charles will have the right at times. He might bring in other folks to host the show. So some of the folks we'll bring in, they'll have chances to host as we rotate out. And a couple of other things that I need to get done in terms of the business. But you never know. I'm going to try to find a way to jump back in here at times to support the team, give it out there. But I will be taking a hiatus, taking a break, if you would, as we would say in the academic platform. I'll be taking a break as I move forward to get it back. But with that being said, with AD Drew, go ahead and provide your thoughts.
First of all, I think you deserve the sabbatical that you're about to go on, Dr. Cavil. I mean, you've been doing it in this space for 500 episodes. Technically, since we started and stopped, I hope we still on 500 because I know we had some technical difficulties earlier, but we're gonna still call this for 500. I remember episode 1, but I can't tell you when episode 1 is. I just remember when Roy came to told me that Dr. Cavil was going to be a part of the show. I mean, part of the network back in the day. I don't want to give away at least a year because I don't remember the day, but I do remember the year that you guys came on. And for me, I read some of your work long before I actually met you in person. Because when I would go through and do research for different things, I would say 30-40% of the time an article will pop up and your name would be in the article. And I see my partner Bryan Fulford has joined us. He's on he's doing spring break with his senior class. So appreciate you coming on and supporting me, Bryan, with this. But I will do that. Then I remember bumping into you. It was Celebration Bowl pre-pandemic. Can't remember if it was 18 or 19 when I bumped into you and everything. And then to find out after that you guys were coming on the network, and probably outside of Roy, I think I probably have been the one person from the network side that's been involved with this show, either as a producer, a guest host, or both. A lot of times, especially when you throw in the Sunday shows, because I produce most of the Sunday shows that we started doing. So I know I've got a good 150 of these shows to my credit. So not to be bragging, but I know like I said, I know I've been great part of it. And then beating Mike, beating Charles and everything. And Mike, and I'm gonna say this: when we finally got you guys on video, you don't look how you sound. You sound totally different, when I heard you in audio than when I actually met you in person and everything, man. So but no, I love hanging out with you guys when we get to when the few times that we do get together because of events and everything. And it's just special being a part of the lab. And last thing before I turn it over to Bryan, I remember talking to Chad at the Chatterbox at the SWAC tournament, and he was like, "Man, AD, you sure be taking some interesting sides on some of these issues." I was like, "Chatterbox, That's what makes a good podcast. Sometimes I don't believe everything that I say, but sometimes you have to take the opposing view just to create the conversation and get everything going. So once you do that, it's like, all right, now I understand why you do what you do. Because I'm like, not everything I believe I say, but I've got to be able to have the other view for the debate. I'm turning over to Bryan right quick.
That is true, but let me just say, I believe everything I say. When I say I don't like them polls. When I say I don't like them polls, Dr. Cavil be putting up, I'm telling the truth. 150% truth.
And stay off my polls. Before I go to Bryan, let me say, AD, let me give a little bit about that back. Thank you. Like you said, you produce a lot of those Sunday shows. Obviously, when we get in the bind and we need to do the show, you jump on. Or when Mike is on assignment, and sometimes he doesn't let us know because the world is fluid. If you can, if possible, you'll find a way to jump on. So we appreciate that. Bryan, I know you're on assignment and don't have a lot of time, but certainly want you give you a chance to share your thoughts. It's been a pleasure teaming up with Bryan and AD of the Sports Rap, which is the longest running show on the BCSN. And so hopefully we fit in seamless with what you all bring to the table.
Well, definitely. Congratulations, Doc, Charles, Mike on number 500 or 500 plus 500 with us. But, yeah, you know, I had to stop in. I had to stop into the lab. I had to report, even though, you know, I'd have missed, it's been a tough week. Just, you know, physically ill, missed my own show on Wednesday night. Got people thinking I'm pledging and stuff. I'm like, I said, no, I haven't pledged. I missed the show because I'm in the sticks. And so I'm glad I got a little signal here, and I had a few minutes to jump on and say congratulations to you guys, and to kind of reiterate what Roy said. Thank you for allowing the Black College Sports Network to be a part of this journey to put your platform with us, and for us to be able to carry it out to the world. So we appreciate that. It means a lot, and I've learned a lot about the HBCU culture. I've had a great time working with you guys in various capacities, even writing some great article or two with you in conjunction with you. So it's inspiring. So I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Congratulations to you guys.
Appreciate it. Quick question before we take this next break. What are your thoughts on my poll?
You know, when I was asked to be a voter,
this is a trick question.
Don't get suckered into that.
I was about to say, you got sucked in.
Don't get suckered into that.
When I was asked to be a voter, I was cool with it. I liked it. You know, I was pretty cool with it most of the times. But then there's sometimes I look at that poll and I'm like, who are these people voting for some of these people? I'm kind of like Mike sometimes, but it's all good. That, you know, it's good to have the human factor, you know, but it's all good sometimes.
Sometimes I like that. Great answer. Great answer.
Sometimes.
With that, I know what AD thinks because he's on the show half the time to do his thoughts on the poll directly. So I won't allow him to get himself in any further trouble. With that, we'll go to our next break. We'll come back on the other side and get some more thoughts. We'll sneak in and talk a little bit about some baseball. Get these gentlemen's thoughts as we're moving forward to see some of the big matchups this weekend as we continue to bring and add folks to the poll. So don't be surprised if Charles reaches out to Bryan and has him hosting a show here and there, because Charles will make sure that he's going to put plenty of people to work. I've already seen the way he does his business, and he'll get it taken care of. With that being said, I appreciate you all. We'll be right back after this next break.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties through its programs Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and Parenting Education Coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentJAX.
The human voice has always connected audiences with experiences. Major brands all across America have trusted Kever's voice time and time again. Conversational, powerhouse, intelligent, and sincere. That's the voice you need for your creative marketing process. KEAVERSVOICE.com. Kever's Voice, KeversVoice, KeversVoice.com. Always on, all the time.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna loud, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Will with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. We're back with an additional group here. As you see, we have Charles and Mike. AD is able to stay with us, but now we bring in Alan Williams, Joe Clay, also brothers of mine. Alan and I go way back in the summer of '89 when we landed at Prairie View. He was from Detroit. I remember when he had the little Kwame move. I'm gonna take it back. That's when the brother had hair.
Hey, I'm a victim of circumstance.
Exactly.
We all are, brother. We all are.
Exactly.
Wait a minute, Dr. Cavil, you're the only one with hair on the show, man.
That's true.
Yeah.
I got the magic touch. Something happened. I think go through that process.
When I met him, he had dreads. Believe it or not.
That's true, and I got pictures to prove it. And these guys remind me all the time. But let me tell a quick story about this. I drafted these two individuals. You know, as Charles opened up and he talked about the fact of space of how they started opening up, and we started seeing a lot of folks jump on and doing their own space. You just heard Bryan that does ONG Strike Zone, and he drafted his team. This is after Charles, and he asked. Charles is so smooth. He asked, "What is your thoughts? We're gonna do this show, Lynn Street and 1600 Club," and he's like, "We're gonna do this." I said, "Man, you better do the show." And then next thing you know, he got the big opportunity when they landed Coach Prime. This was shortly before Prime. Many people don't realize that they kind of see it after Prime that they chased and did a show. They actually started the show before that and had this mindset that they were going to do something different. Shout out to there that did the work, Neely, in terms of what he gets done. That's now in Colorado, growing and continue to do big things. Even finding a way to be a little bit of a professor himself, teaching and lecturing classes, which is funny to me because all these folks say, "Man, I'm not doing no prof." Here you are. Just wait. You'll see what it happens. And get those adjunct roles and nice little checks come in for a little supplement. AD knows about that too. It's pretty nice. With that being said, I wanted the show that said we need a show with Prairie View. And I can't roll off and do this show and do another show. So I told them, what about this concept? So I literally drafted Alan Williams without a hesitation. He's like, let's do it. And I said, all right, I got one. I know the next one. I got to go get Joe Clay. Crazy Joe Clay. I met Joe Clay. Joe Clay goes back when he tried to falsify his documents to become a member of Alpha Alpha.
Hold on. You can't put that on the record.
He's all out in the street. He's legit. So don't come around there asking Joe no questions. You're going to get your head busted because he from straight up New Orleans, grew up in Houston, but he got that little background over there in New Orleans. So every once in a while, people try to test him. I'm telling you, don't do it. Don't do it. With that being said, that's enough of me talking. Let me give the mic to Alan and get his thoughts on all this.
Hey, man, 500 episodes, epic. The dean of HBCU sports. I think, the impact that the lab has had on the culture, I don't think we can grasp it quite yet, because you got to remember, this was the first show to really get into the HBCU sporting diaspora. I can remember coming down to Houston, and I didn't have to ask where we were going to be because we started off in the studio. And then we went across the street to the watering hole. What was the name of it back then, man?
15.
We end up over there, and the Hall of Famer Ralph Cooper will hold court at the bar, and he has stories about everybody and everything. So, talk about a governance formation, about who we are to each other. It all start right here with the lab, baby. Because like you said, you had Charles and them start off, and then you called us in. So now this thing is branched off in the family tree. You got one of those. What was the guy from San Francisco? What was the coach from San Francisco that had the family tree in the NFL? Bill Walsh. You got a Bill Walsh.
Coaching tree. Got a coaching tree.
Yeah, you got a whole coaching tree, bro. Because it's spread out everywhere. Now I don't think BCSN would have any shows without the lab. The lab.
Hold on. Wait. Sports Rap was the original now. Sports Rap was the original.
But you got to remember, who was the first to start going live? Who was the first to start, broadcasting on YouTube. So all I can say is the only one I knew about was the lab.
Right.
And all my friends would ask me about the lab. So I hats off to you, bro. Congratulations on 500 episodes. And like you said, we go way back. You can look over my shoulder here. You see us at graduation from Prairie View back in 1994. So yeah, we go back like we down like two flat tires, bro.
No doubt. Joe Clay, jump in here and go ahead and give your thoughts.
Man, all I'm gonna say is Dr. Cavil, aka Yada, has completely ruined my fandom. I can no longer enjoy watching sports, particularly high school and college sports, because he has given me a ghetto degree in the business of sports. When you understand the business of sports, you look at it in a completely different light.
Totally different.
Yeah.
You really do. Yeah.
Yeah. You can no longer just watch the game and just accept it for what it is. You're thinking about the student athletes, what they have to deal with. Are they being fairly compensated? How much money is the university being compensated for all the auxiliary events and activities that go along with the game? So it was an education that I was taking in over the years when Dr. Cavil started his journey in the sports media industry and just the education of sports. But then it turned into something else and turned my fandom into wanting a desire to want to understand the business. So thank you for ruining my fandom, but thank you for the education as well.
I never thought about it like that, but that's so true. When you think about how we mix it up and do it. And the odd thing was that sometimes you all make sure that I understand the place and time, because sometimes it just happens. I don't even know it, and I just get to talking. You're like, all right, here, relax, take a drink.
But Doc, I think that's kind of the beauty of the show, especially, and I always say this, it's the uniqueness of HBCU sports, in that there are a lot of things that come together in terms of trying to understand the business of HBCU sports, which I think is a different framework than what you see at the Power Fives and that you see with historically white colleges and universities, and to have a understanding of it. And you've taken us down completely different rabbit holes that, it is fun to really kind of understand, wow, this is a uniqueness that we are, not only talking about, studying, or whatever the case might be, but it is, it's different, and it makes it a lot of fun to come in on Tuesdays and Thursdays and look at it in a different framework.
Yeah, I remember 2 years.
We have the question on the floor, and I'll give it to you, Mike. We have the question on the floor that we want everybody to get a chance to answer for a prize. Is, when did we do our first show with BCSN? Where did we do our first show with Ralph Cooper? Where was that located? And what is the nickname of that area or place in Houston? You get any of those, you get the prize. We'll make sure you get your on patch here. Go ahead, Mike.
No, just building off what CB said. I remember 2 years, not one, but 2 years before FAMU and Bethune joined the SWAC. We started contemplating, talking about the business aspect. And we didn't just talk about them moving over. We didn't talk about just the branding aspect. We were talking about how's this going to impact spring sports? How's this going to impact stuff like baseball? Who's going to run baseball in the SWAC? We were analyzing that and talking through that long before. And AD Drew, I got to give you credit. You joined us for a lot of those conversations. And now here we are, the year our Lord, 2024. And we're kind of on the reverse side of some of those conversations that we started years ago about, man, what if FAMU comes out? Jackson State's kind of been dominated, but now you got Bethune and FAM coming over here. What's that going to do with baseball? What's that going to do with basketball? And then we said, well, let's talk about revenue. Who's got the most revenue? So it's like that blooming onion at the state. It just blossomed and blossomed and blossomed, but you didn't notice the growth because it was so much fun in analyzing the business of sports, the culture of sports, in addition to just the sports itself. So hats off again. No, actually, I'm gonna tip of the glass to you, Dr. Cavil.
and something, Mikey, you bring up when the merger finally happened when FAMU came over, and then later Bethune came over, and I remember that show when all of us collaborated together. We may have had about 7 people who were just regulars, and we wheeled in. I know we wheeled in Colonel Clark, Dr. McClellan. We had about 4, 5, 6 different important guests. Coach Simmons was on there when that happened, and that's kind of the first time when I realized the power of what we had created.
Yep.
With all of us coming together, because we had people from all over the country. Dr. Cavil had his contacts. We had our contacts, and people was calling other people, and we was just rolling out. It was like a 3-hour show, but I remember that and just how we did. And then all of us getting together on those SWAC media days, when we coming together, 10, 12 of us all together, just, we had fun doing the interviews, rotating in and out. I'm an alum of this school, so I'm going to go talk to these people. You're an alum of this school. Hey, you know that coach and you know that coach. But that was fun. But I don't know what was funner. That process or afterwards, when we just got together around the bar,
exactly, and all that stuff. And I'm making everybody take shots.
Except Roy.
I think those are some of the best shows that never aired in terms of what we discussed. But I got a question for a couple of y'all, and then we'll come back and get more of y'all to ask. But Charles, what was your first thought when you were on live with us when you were drafted to be a part of the show? What can you go back?
Yeah, I can go back vividly because I had listened to you and Ralph in terms of y'all's dialogue, and I knew I just wanted to be a part of it in some manner, and to actually be in the studio and listen to Ralph Cooper. He is a radio legend here in Houston, and then you were bringing in this HBCU framework, and I just thought I was in heaven in terms of being able to be in this environment where I'm talking HBCU sports, and then. I think I've told you, I'd be happy to keep stats or whatever the case might be, and just give you a report so that you can talk about it. And you invited me to come on the mic, and that was, the beginning of a labor of love in terms of wow. And I thought to myself there in the studio, wow, I'm in this space and I'm talking about college sports. I'm talking about HBCU sports, and I'm talking with an individual who not only is an expert in regards to the knowledge of it, but I'm able to share a friendship with him as well. And that was really, really exciting to me to be able to do that. So I really appreciate you just inviting me into the space. And then, I go even further. When I talk to you about doing the pregame show and I told you about my good friend Neely and how sharp he was in terms of what he would be able to bring to it. And he was like, go for it. Because it hasn't been seen, it hasn't been done. And what we were able to do with the pregame show with Jackson State and highlight not only Coach Prime, but highlight Jackson State football, it was tremendous to be able to, get that quote unquote blessing and go from there. And we were able to, sort of do something so very unique. So I always appreciated you giving me that leeway to be able to do that and to be able to hook up with my guy. And we were able to bring something completely different that I think HBCU fans, and I know our Jackson State fan base, they hadn't seen before.
That's good. And still resonates to this day. Mike, and then we'll take a break after that. We'll come back on the other side and get y'all thoughts on this. Mike, what was your thoughts when you finally got the thing, you got the notice? So I was like, hey, we got a show. You're on the mic. Let's go.
Man, I was excited, nervous, all at the same time. Didn't know what to say. There was no format. Doc did a great job of providing a script, but I remember when you went back, you started years and years ago with email polls. You remember that? Email ban polls. And that was long before that. I mean, that's how you got started. You built these networks. And then when we first got it, I was like, all right, what should I say? What should I not say? But I was most nervous when I went to the media day with Doc and we went to the championship bowl. That's like walking with the mayor. I got so pissed off. you got the mayor walking. Hey, Dr. Cavil, how you doing? And they looking at me like I'm just dirt. You know, I was so pissed off. Like I'm like Mr. Dun executive, and you got the mayor, you got the ads. Hey, Dr. Cavil, I need to ask you something, and they looking at like me like, get his bags, you know. So I had to get used to that.
Good stuff. We'll be right back after this next break. We'll come back on the other side. Get these other guys' thoughts in terms of the first time the lights came on and they went mic with Dr. Cavil inside the HBCU Sports Lab or their own show where I came on and guest. With that being
itchy, squirmy, scratchy, family not getting clean? Get Charmin Ultra Strong. Go get 'em. It just cleans better. With a diamond weave texture, your family can use less while still getting clean.
Goodbye, itchy squirm.
Hello, bottom. We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
At Hampton Law, our primary goal is to provide non-traditional yet solutions and redefine the approach to client legal concerns. As your trusted legal advisor, we believe in sophisticated, personalized services that eliminate the confusion and complexity sometimes associated with legal matters. Our high standard for client care and concern, coupled with our extensive legal knowledge and skills, make Hampton Law a resource focused on the protection of the client's interest and overall to conveniently schedule an appointment online. Tamika Hampton Esquire, 1631 Rock Springs Road, Suite 336, Apopka, Florida, 407-494-1471. thamptonlaw.com.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him.
Ooh, I like him.
Nate.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
When it comes to analytic data with your hip hop, if you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna law, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. We have Charles Bishop, Mike Washington, AD Drew, Joe Clay, Alan Williams. We got Raymond, Holley bringing guests, BJ Jones, and we'll have Joshua soon to join us. It looks like Holley is in the legendary Baby Dome. We'll tell you why it's legendary afterwards. Some of y'all can't get those secrets. BJ Jones, I'm sure you have your own secrets over there in terms of the legendary dome in Baton Rouge, but we got some good ones as well. And we're going to keep that off the record. But with that being said, one of the individuals that is quietly behind the scene that does a lot of our social media stuff, and people may not realize, is that we have somebody that writes the scripts. We have somebody that does the production. We have somebody that does the social media. We also have another individual that updates and uploads all our material. So one of the things that I quietly wanted to get done that you've seen with some of the folks that have added to the program in regards to offshoot shows they've done, I also wanted to give space with people that had the ability to do skills that want to be on the show but do stuff behind the screens and give them a chance. So with that being said, let me get Raymond Holley a chance to say some words.
Well, all I want to say is congratulations. Go back before the show started with the tailgate. And then we start doing the show with Ralph on Tuesdays. And then you start putting it on Facebook. And then I remember coming to you and saying, hey, let's record these things and put it on YouTube so people that missed Facebook, they can go back and do it. And that's where I came in on the outside doing the back room was doing the Facebook, doing the YouTube stuff. And then we migrated on over to Twitter, and now we're over on Instagram. So we got those three plus Facebook. You got the Facebook going on all the social media. I want to congratulate.
Send you the script, so you try to do your little homework or whatever, but you don't know who else is coming on, and then somebody else will come on and they got stats down to the to the nth level. So whenever I come on this show, I am armed. I've got this phone got the Google machine on. This one got Yahoo, and this one got Chat GPT. So I will never come unprepared again. So I think that bled over into 1876 with my preparation for interviews. So the thing that I learned was that proper preparation prevents piss poor performance. I kind of learned that back in '92 from Mike, who was my ADP, but this was reinforcement.
For sure. Drew, what were your thoughts when you first got the mic? And obviously, you've done your own show before that. But what it was like when you joined this team and had to come with the framework?
And speaking of our show, even though Sports Rap, it was the original show here on the Black College Sports Network 25 years ago, I joined it about 7 years ago. It was like when I came over here to inside the HBCU Sports Lab, it's like all of a sudden I had street cred. That guy, he could ball, but until you ball at that part where all the playground legends ball at, you ain't got no game. And that's what coming over here made for me. And I'll quickly say this. I remember one day I think I sent you a text or whatever, say, whenever if you ever need a guess if somebody is out, just hit me up. And of course, you know how Doc is. He'll hit you up about 2 hours before and ask you, can you come on and everything. Of course, I'm gonna come on. I'm gonna find a way to get home and get to the studio and everything else. But what you did, Doc, you made me step up my game in one way, because I had to figure out, because one day you asked me to come on, I agreed to come on. And then Roy had something going on, and Roy had also asked me to produce. So you made me step up my game and figure out how to be a guest host on the show and how to produce the show at the same time and still put out a quality product. So for that, Dr. Cavil, I thank you, because you really made me step up my game to a different level when it comes to being behind this keyboard.
Appreciate it. Let me bring on the youngest team. One of the groups, I've met these individuals in different ways, and I say, man, y'all got to team up. It really worked out well, because now Joshua Sims and BJ Jones, they have their own show, HBCU Nightly, that brings in a MEAC cadre of individuals, and then you get the bounce back with BJ. But you got coaches experience. You have a MEAC individual, North Carolina Central, BJ Jones, coach, and played at Southern University. So it gives you a whole different perspective. But let me start with BJ Jones, as I brought them on the show. And then I was like, we're going to put y'all two together, and kind of did their things on Sundays. We did wrap ups and talk about it. BJ Jones, what were your thoughts when you came on the show, and what do you want to share about joining us for episode 500?
Oh, man. First of all, man, amazing milestone, Doc. Amazing milestone, show 500. That longevity, that consistency, you don't get to make it to 500 and not be great. So let me definitely say that. I would say, man, when Doc hit me up the first time, it was during the 2018 recruiting rankings, and we went through it. It was me, Doc, and Charles, and man, it was just an honor. And remember, after that, Doc would have me on periodically. We would talk, and said, Doc, I want to, do my own thing. And Doc, he always said, man, take your time. It's easy to jump out there, but take your time and get it right. And man, Lord behold, man, Doc, he talked to me and Josh, and I always tell people, man, Doc is the evil scientist in the lab that created me and Josh, man, an offensive guy from the MEAC, that played on the offensive side of football, coached on the offensive side of football, and a defensive guy from the SWAC that played on the defensive side of the football, coached on the defensive side of the football. It was just a perfect mix. And like I said, that mix is, from Doc being in the lab, creating greatness. So, man, Doc, I appreciate you so much for that, man.
Appreciate it. Joshua Sim, Senior, go ahead and give us your thoughts in terms of being in the mix with us in episode 500.
Well, first off, man, listen, y'all gotta excuse me. I had to pull off on the side of the road. There was no way I was gonna do this and come here and show this love, from inside of a car, man. I had to make sure I pulled over and did this right. As everybody has known, I've come and became a part of this family, by way of Dr. Cavil, by way of Chuck, by way of my big brother Mike, and really, everybody that's here, man, whether it's Drew, Joe, I see some great faces, man, Alan, man, G Boom, man, and Roy, and really, having the opportunity again to what my brother BJ said, the mad scientist himself, as I call him, the good doctor, Dr. Cavil, putting me and my brother BJ Jones together, man, and what we've built through HBCU Nightly is fashioned directly through a visionary concept that Dr. Cavil had, man. Doc seeing that both of us from both sides of the ball, me being an offensive guy, BJ being a defensive guy, he coached on the defensive side of the ball, I coached on the offensive side of the ball. And, really both of our perspectives come from all three facets of the game, but man, just loving this game and loving our institutions and loving our people, man. I think Doc saw that. I think he saw that we really genuinely loved our institutions, loved this institution called HBCU, and saw that we could be able to do this, and that we guidance and introspection. We needed an expert's perspective. We needed a group of experts' perspectives in order for us to be able to take it and run with it the way we have. So, man, Doc, to have made it to 500 episodes, dog, I'm chasing you, dog. I've been telling you that since day one. I'm chasing you. And, man, I appreciate you, dog. Love you, OG. And, man, to many, many more, Chuck, Mike, to many, many more, man, everybody else, man. I absolutely appreciate y'all, man, for putting us up under your wings. And I look forward to it still, even though the show, whatever's going to happen, I still look forward to getting all them cigars we going to.
No doubt. Joshua in there, those trips to Atlanta are always great in terms of what that looks like. Let me get to Kyle Mosley, HBCU Sports Illustrated. I wanted to bring in a little different perspective. We kind of teamed up here in Houston and found our ways of delivering the news in this perspective. And Kyle has been doing it for years, goes way beyond that. But I wanted to give him a chance to share some stuff before I pass it back to Charles and Mike to kind of get some of their final thoughts on the show. Go ahead, Kyle.
Hey, first of all, how you guys doing?
Doing well.
Say, Kyle.
What's going on, Chuck?
Hey, Kyle, I'm doing great.
Man, you want me to bring out my whiskey? Hold on. Well, look, it's a celebration, as Rick James would have said, right? Doc, everything you guys have done, especially bringing the news and bringing the education that's necessary here from the HBCU landscape. I learned a lot in the conversations with you, as well as Chuck and AD, Mike. You guys just keep on doing what you need to do. You've been a blessing, and you just don't know how much of a blessing you've been. The guidance and mentorship that you provided to a lot of people, you just heard what Joshua said. So it meant a lot. And just think 500, golly. I'm running in quicksand to even think and try to get up to 500, but I really do appreciate everything you've done and everything you continue to do. I know you have an expanded role now, but hopefully we can still get to hear you dot out the knowledge and drop some nuggets to us every now and then. Okay.
Yes, I appreciate that, Colin. You're actually right. You were one of the first that heard the news beyond Mike and Charles. I shared with them is when I got the first official nod to become the interim dean, which is part of the reason I need to make some space. So you're absolutely right. It's another opportunity where I actually wear the dean's hat. I was the associate dean, and I got the name as people kind of spoke it into existence from an academic framework. So I appreciate that. So I'm gonna go around and get final thoughts as we been on here long enough. We're gonna kind of close it up. Start with you, Alan. Your final thoughts as Kyle just shared his. What's your final thought?
You know, I just am so appreciative of this space, of the convening of this brotherhood, and moving the culture forward, and providing examples for those that are coming behind us. I mean, you have no idea how far this family tree reaches from the folks behind the camera, the students that have gotten involved in all of our shows. I just did a letter of recommendation for a student who is now working at ESPN. We have another student that's at USC making movies, but started out on a show that came from the lab. So I'm just so appreciative for this space, man, and for you, Doc, for putting this all together and being the mad scientist. So appreciate you.
No doubt. Joe Clay?
Yeah, I thought about what Joshua said, and I realized I follow everyone that's on this screen, on this show today. I follow everyone on Twitter, Instagram, whatever, all the social media that they're on, and I read their thoughts and their words on a daily basis. And I've learned about the institutions that they attended, their alumni, and the lab kind of brought that to me. In addition to inspiring Alan and myself to start our show. Our show then expanded the relationship that I had with my university, with Prairie View A&M. So the sporting that HBCU diaspora expanded the relationship I have with not only my alma mater, but actually with the entire HBCU landscape. So I'm highly appreciative of that and the pseudo education that I have received from this entire experience. That will just continue. And it's completely changed my relationship with the HBCUs that we travel to and play against and we follow. It's allowed me to have a deeper and different relationship with all these HBCUs. So wonderful consistency. Your consistency was next level. Congratulations.
Appreciate it. Very purposeful. BJ Jones, final thoughts.
Doc, man, congratulations on the new role, well deserved. I will say this: you are definitely the dean. To me, there's a lot in this business that I learned because of you. It is a rough transition from the field and the headset to get behind the mic, and there's a lot more learning than people think. That you have to do to do this and do this right, and do it in a way that the people deserve it. To be honest, and those lessons are lessons that I learned from you, Dr. Cavil. You talked about the importance in investing in people, not necessarily always monetarily, but sometimes just with your time and your words of wisdom. And you really put that into action with me. So I definitely appreciate you. Everything that you've done for me in this space. And like I said, well deserved job. Well done, Doc.
Good stuff. Joshua Simpson.
Yeah, man, I hope everybody can hear me a little bit better. I'm right outside of High Point, North Carolina. So if any of y'all who know High Point, North Carolina, ain't no signal in High Point, North Carolina. Barely telephone. But man, Doc, man, listen, man, dog, you know what you mean to me, dog. I appreciate you, man. All jokes aside, BJ just hit the nail on the head about the transition from the headset, from the sidelines to this headset and to this microphone, and how the transition is not as easy as people would like to think. There's a lot of jokers who can get in front of a camera and they can talk and they think that they are saying something of some substance, and they really are putting it down, as you say. But truthfully, they really in front of the camera making a fool of themselves, and it's because they haven't taken the time to understand this craft. And fortunately for myself, my brother BJ Jones was my partner in this, who clearly, I mean, you've heard us say, both of us said, we became partners because we decided to come up under the tutelage and the guidance of the dean. And so for me, very similar to what my brother says, man, I'm just appreciative, dog. I'm appreciative, and I know that the world is not done with Dr. Cavil. The media world is not done with Dr. Cavil. The HBCU media world is not done with you. So don't go run off and go and get too far away from us. But because we still got a lot more teaching and understanding that we got to get from you. It just will transition into another capacity. And for me, it's gonna still feel good to be able to pick up that phone and call my OG and say, hey, man, what you think about this, Doc? Tell me what your thoughts are about this. Tell me how you feel about that. And for a person that's from the South, I'm from the Mid-South, but I'm from the South. OGs and big homies and big brothers, that's a sign of respect. It's an incredible sign of respect for you to refer to somebody as an OG, not in the illegal or some sort of crazy other type of format, but to see brothers like Charles Bishop as a big brother, as an OG, Mike Washington as an OG. Mike, I call him OG every single time I see him on here. Joe, Drew, big brothers, OGs, Alan and Kyle and Roy, all of y'all, man. But in particular to my biggest big brother, my biggest OG, who I can pick up the phone at any time. If I got any questions about anything, he pick up the phone and he gave me some game every single time, any single time, and all the opportunities he can. So, Doc, man, I salute you, man. Man, I appreciate you, OG. Real talk, man. You know this. I ain't just telling you this because we on the screen. I tell you this when we talk on the phone. And so I'm gonna continue to do so. Thank you for the information and the guidance you've given, Doc.
It's reciprocal, so I certainly appreciate it. Kyle Mosley, any last thought?
Well, again, guys, Doc, thank you. In the old black church, that's all we can say. It's just thank you. And look, man, if you listen to everybody who's just, giving their sentiments, but it's more than that. Thank you for just the guidance, the tutelage, but also thank you for being a pioneer in this broadcast sector as well, to be able to give us a great format. I'll be honest with you, man. When I got to the HBCU, just reporting on a day-to-day basis, I would look at what Doc said. What's Doc said, and when it came down to the press conferences as well, and just having you to take that lead on the lead questions on the SWAC press conferences, I said, well, hell, shit, Doc saying that, I can see it too. So, but those are the things that, as a young reporter, people would take it as, oh man, that guy's just talking. Like, no, he's helping us and he's paving the way, and that's what you've done. And I just need to say thank you very much for listening to me and just saying hello to me. When the first time you say hello to me, I was like, yeah, he knows who I am. that meant a lot, man.
No, you do great work.
I appreciate you.
Like all of y'all do great work. AD Drew.
Look at this screen, fellas. This screen is the epitome of Black excellence. This screen shows that although each and every one of us on here love our individual institutions, yes, we talk trash on each other's institution when we have to face each other heads up. But the rest of the year, we all together as one. Why is that? I know this man whose name is in the jingle, whose name is on the logo, had something to do with that, and he will quickly humble us when we get too high up on the horse. Because I know he's had to shut me down a couple of times, like, AD, all right, calm down, AD, calm down, and he's done that to all of us. But at the same time, when you are on a roll and you make that point, he will encourage you and sometimes help you bring out stuff that you didn't even know that you had inside of you when you're doing reporting or when you're doing writing and everything like that. So for you, Dr. Cavil, as you transition and move on to other things, thank you for laying the groundwork for everyone here, for everyone who's wish they could have been here but not here, and for those who are to come in the future. You're an asset not only to your institution, your alma mater, but to all of the HBCU diaspora. So from the bottom of my heart and the bottom of the Black College Sports Network heart, and from my partner Bryan Fulford, we thank you and continue to answer our phone calls and texts.
Oh, no doubt. I didn't do all y'all like this, but I'm do these last two folks because that's what I do. Not only do they get the last thoughts, but you got to ask the question. Y'all talk about coming over here and being prepared and getting it. Hey, I was going to do all that, but I know Joshua over there in the MEAC, unfortunately, they don't have baseball. They still got softball, so I could have asked him that question. But the North Carolina Central, I was so mad when they were making it run for a championship and couldn't quite get it done, and then they closed down the baseball. That's how we grow our affinity and go across of it. So while I love the SWAC, there's so much things I love about the MEAC, and I was so proud what Joshua put down 10 toes with the Western's crew to get this done. I'd be remiss that we didn't say that. We did reach out to Erica. One of the things I thought was so important, and we've been trying to do this from the show, is make sure we had a voice for a woman. And I'm so proud that you all were able to significantly do that. And then you got another one. We hadn't had her on the show, but we have talked about it, and we got up to the last minute with live LIV. We'll make sure that we will get her on as she's transitioned doing her stuff. She's brilliant in what she brings to the table. So fascinating the fact that you all have continued to open the space and you make sure that it's not just about us in terms of the men. We're trying to make sure that everybody gets the opportunity and gets a phase of this. So Mike, you got your thoughts, but then I need to know, you got FAMU at VAP. You got Texas Southern at Pine Bluff. You got Southern at Grambling, Prairie at Alcorn, Alabama A&M at Jackson State, Bethune-Cookman at Alabama State. Which game are you looking at and most looking forward to see before you add your final thoughts on episode 500? We had to get it in. We're gonna talk some sports now. You're on mute.
You're on mute.
See, that's one too many sips of that glass.
So this ain't Shay Shay, but I'm sipping.
But it's close enough.
No, so allow me to look at it. Answer this. Why is it that Pine Bluff has 5 players that are batting in the top 10 in ERA? That's what you're asking. And yet, who's in first place? It's Florida A&M. And why? Because they're more consistent all around. Their ERA is better. So to answer your question, Dr. Cavil, since you want to, can FAMU continue their prowess? Can they continue to do what they do? But I'm really, really looking for that Alabama State Bethune. If you really want to know which game, Bethune has a 3-game stint with Alabama State. So that's number 2 and number 4 in the East. And you're also talking about 2 of the teams with the highest ERA. That's earned run average. Number of earned runs on an average 9-inning space for those who didn't play baseball. So that's the game I'm looking for. So you're going to put me on the spot. I've been going with your ass for 30 years. And
but you was ready.
I know you can handle it, big bro. That's what you did to me when you first told me. Like, come on over here. I thought we was gonna get some drinks. And then next thing I know, woodshed. Never mind. Did I say that? Final thoughts, Mike.
So yes, I am going with Alabama State. Traditionally, they've had the powerhouse pitching, but remember when we rolled FAMU over, we rolled Bethune over, you bought that power hitting. So I want to see. The other thing is, I wonder why the average ERA, if you've noticed across the SWAC, since they bought this power hitting, has not dipped below that 3.1. If you look statistically in baseball, teams that have that ERA of 3.1, 3.2 typically can dominate the SWAC, even if their hitting is off. So I'd like to see which is going to win out of those two. That is my homework assignment. I was ready for the assignment. Shay have one, Shay.
Charles, I tried to get him. Question for you is, I know you had a question you wanted to ask the listeners. You can get that out there. I'll give it. But you got FAMU at Valley, Texas Southern at Pine Bluff, Southern at Grambling, Prairie at Alcorn, Alabama A&M Jackson State, Bethune-Cookman at Alabama State. Mike said he's looking at that game on the east. Which direction are you going to go, Charles?
Yeah, I think in the East, Bethune and Alabama State is one that you want to pay attention to this weekend. Alabama State coming off a huge win over Auburn. Let's see if they can get a little bit of momentum, because they're currently looking up at Jackson State, FAMU, and Bethune-Cookman this weekend. So big weekend for the Alabama State baseball team, and we'll see if that pitching can get on track a little bit. Normally, we see Alabama State normally in the upper echelon with regards to SWAC pitching. This year, that hasn't been the case. One that's off the radar, but I'm paying attention to, and we had him as a guest on this past week, was Carlos James and UAPB and Texas Southern. UAPB looking up at Texas Southern, Southern and Grambling, but they're the best hitting team in the SWAC. They're hitting 315 overall as a team, and they have the best hitter in college baseball. Going up against Texas Southern pitching this weekend. So that's going to be a series I'm going to pay attention to a little bit there. So I think we got some good games this weekend. Of course, Southern and Grambling fighting it out. That's going to be a great series, as well as they're fighting for supremacy in the SWAC West. So looking forward to a little baseball action this weekend.
Man, you see that Josh with BJ Allen, Kyle, and Joe Clay AD. You see how I got them, made them make sure they did their homework. Because you want to ask a question, you want me to do it. So let me put this question out there. When did I do the poll rankings? Since we talked a little bit about it, put that in the chat. We'll make sure we'll reach out and get you a copy if you want the large patch or if you want the small patch. All that, and all the team members here will officially get some apparel that has the official logo as we kind of close and move in the direction. So yeah, Kyle, you heard that correctly. You'll be in the list. You'll get some. So all of y'all, make sure you reach out. Send me your sizes so I can get that to you so we can represent. Mike and Charles will get a special edition in terms of what that looks like. So appreciate all of y'all spending this time as we turn it. We were moving for 500. But let me say a special thank you to each of you. You have been magnanimous in so many different ways in my growth. Obviously, you talked about what I did, but what you all didn't realize is you all fueled me. So the excellence, if people want to see that and call it that I was able to provide is a direct reflection of what you do. I also want to shout out a couple of the dignitaries out there, the commissioners, the athletic directors, VPs of athletics, the coaches, both on the men's and women's side, and some of the other folks that are influential, whether it's provosts, provost presidents that have took me in a lot of ways, talked to me when they needed information and asked for me or told me things that needed to be out there to correct. So things were corrected. They also leaned on me in regards to when they needed to put something out there, but they had to wait before it was told. So I want to shout out all of them. They do significant work. Obviously, there's times where we may not be as happy as we would like to be with them, but I've seen them really in the trenches doing a lot of work. So I wanted to shout out for them. And whoever I called and worked with them, they've always come on the show and are happy to give that information. So I do want to provide that. Again, I want to say thank you to each of you. A special thank you to Mike and Charles, who have allowed me to badger them times when they had things to do. And I'll be like, nah, we're going to make this trip. We're going to get this done. We got to have the show late, whatever. And we find a way to get it done to get to literally episode 500. So thanks to each of y'all with that. Thank you for listening to Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Make sure you share our podcast with your friends and colleagues. I am Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, the Dean of HBCU Sports, coming from inside the lab in the College of HBCU Sports with Mike Watch and Charles Bishop, as they is showing you 500. Continue to check out Al and Joe Clay with the work that they continue to push. Obviously, Josh Sims Seniors, BJ Jones with HBCU Nightly. Kyle Mosley with HBCU Sports Illustrated, and the many others that have found a way to get it out to all of y'all. As you've seen, it was quite a lot of people we tried to bring in, but there's others that I thought about wanting to bring in, reached out to some, but we only have a limited amount of space. But all of you all are extremely important to get this done and make it work. So I want to say a big thank you to each of you. Again, we want to thank you for listening to Dr. Lil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Watch and Charles Bishop every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 o'clock. Don't get anywhere. While I may not be here, we will have a show next Tuesday. So 501 will continue. You'll see what that looks like as we move forward. Follow me, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil. That's DrKenyattaCavil. That's on X, formerly known as Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Inside the HBCU Sports Lab 1 on X, formerly known as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube is Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Dream big. Continue to move forward. We will talk with you soon. We'll try to do this. Mike?
Horse.
Charles?
Lecture.
Everybody?
Yes.
As dismissed.
Oh, that was good. That was good, dog. You worked.